Hey everyone, so welcome back to another rec therapy session in your WOW daily videos, or as we like to say, WOW on demand. Just wanted to say, I know yesterday was Cinco de Mayo, today's Wednesday, but I just wanted to do a little lesson on Cinco de Mayo because I think it's really important, right? And I know you guys had a ton of fun yesterday. Like I said, I just wanted to go over some things about Cinco de Mayo to maybe tell you things that you didn't know before, or to give you a perspective that you hadn't seen, or some history that you didn't learn in the past. And so that being the case, let's go ahead and jump right into it, okay? Okay, guys, so this is a book about Cinco de Mayo, okay? Right now, we're going to be going through this book, and I'll be reading it with you and discussing it with you, right? We're going to go through it like we did the astronaut book, and then the other books we've done as well, okay? Alrighty, so let's get started. Cinco de Mayo by Anne Heinrichs, right? So, Viva Mexico, right? That's how we start. Piñatas, floats, and tasty food all play a role in the holiday that remembers Mexican independence, okay? So, we have this table of contents here is basically just telling us where everything is on which page and whatnot, right? So let's just go ahead and move on. Okay, here we go. Page number 1, chapter 1. Long live Mexico. Okay, so floats and marching bands are move down the street. Cars are honking their horns, and everyone's waving colorful flags. It's Cinco de Mayo, right? Cinco de Mayo is a Mexican holiday. Cinco de Mayo is Spanish for the 5th of May. Pretty simple. That's what this festival. That's when this festival takes place. It's a time to celebrate Mexican pride. Would you like to learn a Cinco de Mayo greeting? Just say Viva Mexico, right? That means long live Mexico. Now, even if you're not Hispanic, even if you're not Mexican, like specifically, if you're Hispanic, this holiday actually means a lot to Hispanic culture because it's one of the most recognized Spanish holidays in the world. So if we can get something that's Hispanic at all as a holiday, that's a win, right? Because, minorities and stuff. But let's just continue on, right? So what happened on Cinco de Mayo that makes it so special, you may ask? Well, in the book it says, Mexico once belonged to Spain, right? So the Mexican people won their freedom in 1821, but their troubles were not over. France invaded Mexico in 1862, right? People in the city of Puebla were brave. They got ready for battle. Many had no guns, some had nothing but form tools, or just tools that they would work on different projects with, right? Like a hammer or whatever it was. But they only had tools, they didn't have weapons. On May 5th, fierce fighting broke out. There were many more Frenchmen than Mexicans. But Mexicans won the battle nonetheless, right? So basically what happened in this page is that they introduced to us that the idea that Mexico was once owned by the Spanish people, or the people from Spain, right? They got their independence in 1821 from them. However, after that, there was an invasion by France in 1862. So they had about 40 years of freedom, right? They had 41 years of freedom. Then France came and invaded, and they had a huge battle. But even though the Mexicans were outnumbered, they still came out on top. So let's continue. Proud to be Mexican, chapter 3. Okay, so Mexicans are proud on Cinco de Mayo. They think about the Battle of Puebla, the one I just told you about, right? The people of Puebla found hard that day. The people of Puebla fought hard that day. They beat a much larger army. They proved Mexicans can be brave and strong. Okay? People in Mexico celebrate Cinco de Mayo. It's a national holiday there, but it's an even bigger holiday for Mexican Americans. They celebrate their Mexican roots that day, and they show how proud they are of being a Mexican or from Mexico, right? So on the side here, it says that Fiesta Broadway is held in Los Angeles, California. It's the world's biggest Cinco de Mayo festival. It was pretty crazy. It's in America too, which is pretty crazy if you think about it, right? But also California and Los Angeles is actually home to a lot of Hispanic people, specifically people who are Mexican, right? Cinco de Mayo reminds Mexicans to be proud, right? That's what we were just saying. Also, Cinco de Mayo is especially popular in Mexico and in the southwestern United States. And then lastly, on the page it says, Cinco de Mayo is very popular in states near the Mexican border. That includes California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Okay, so all those states are very likely to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Okay, so let's go forward. Okay, chapter 4, fiesta time. Okay, Cinco de Mayo is fiesta time. Fiesta time, fiesta is Spanish for festival, right? Cinco de Mayo is a great day for a parade. What will you see? Your children and grown-ups in colorful costumes, they say you'll see, right? Some are dancing, some carry Mexican flags, marching bands go by, they play horns and drums, right? You'll see floats covered with hundreds of flowers. There may be fire trucks and people on horseback. City leaders join in too. Everyone waves to the crowd, right? So it's just a huge festival where tons of people are parading, and people are running around and celebrating and eating. It's just a great time, right? Let's go ahead and move on. All right, so here we have two little side notes, and then as you can see, we have this beautiful painting of this gentleman who seems to be an army person or a military man, riding a giant insect with wheels on it, and the horse is tugging it. So very strange picture, but nonetheless it is art, so let's appreciate it, right? So on the side here it says, the cockroach. Pancho Villa was a famous Mexican general. He rode, that's what the picture's about. He rode in a rickety carriage. His troops called it La Cucaracha, right? That means the cockroach. La Cucaracha became a popular tune. It's often played by Mexican bands. So if you've ever heard La Cucaracha, ya no puedo caminar. You've ever heard that song? Well, that comes from him, Pancho Villa, right? He, like we just read, La Cucaracha is what he called his carriage, or what he rode on, right? So, oh, look, the song is right here, actually, if you want to sing it, right? So it goes, La cucaracha, ya no puedo caminar, porque no tiene, porque la falta, una pata para andar, right? So you just repeat that over and over again, that's the song, right? They have it in English too. I've never sung it in English before, and I won't, but it's there if you want to try, okay? All right, let's go ahead and move on. All right, chapter 5, Mexican costumes. So you'll see colorful costumes on Cinco de Mayo. Often they are green, white, and red. Why? Because they're the colors of the Mexican flag, right? So here a side note says the Mexican men's costume is called a chorro, right? A chorro suit, rather. A chorro is a traditional Mexican horseman. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on. All right, so it says girls and women wear big skirts and ruffles. They wear bright flowers in their hair, and they may carry beautiful fans. Many wear shawls with fringe. Okay, so like what she's wearing, that's what the girls and the woman would wear. And then the boys and men wear sombreros, right? These are the big Mexican hats that are like this big that you see all the time whenever we celebrate Cinco de Mayo, and maybe you'll see like mariachi bands, wearing them. Their jackets and pants have fancy designs. Spurs jingle on their shiny black boots. Okay, so very showy, very flashy, right? Everything's like in your face and colorful. And that's the whole point, right? We're trying to display the colorfulness of the Mexican culture and the beauty of it, right? Okay, let's go on to chapter 6. Music, dance, and food. The fun part, right? Cinco de Mayo festivals are great fun. People enjoy Mexican dance, food, and music, right? Mariachi bands are playing. The musicians wear traditional Mexican suits. They play trumpets, guitars, violins. Mariachis may play on stage, or they may just stroll around. It's cool when they're strolling around. I've been to places or festivals or parties before where there's a mariachi band, and it's a lot better when they're walking around because it's more interactive that way, and it's more fun, right? Because you have them like walking up to you, and like you're right in front of them, and it's just cool. Like you're in the actual performance rather than them being far and on a stage. And I think that's like one of the coolest things. Dancers put on Mexican folk dance shows. They are exciting, right? The dancers swirl around, they clap their hands, they use their feet to tap out a lively beat. Okay. So they essentially are like tap dancing in a way, but their own version. Each Mexican state has its own special dance. Each has a special costume too. So the United States has 50 states, right? Well, I don't know how many states Mexico has, but just like we have states, other countries have a form of state as well, right? So the different states that are in Mexico each have their own different special dances, right? No one has the same dance as another country or another state. They all differentiate, which just means they're all different. They try to be different. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. All right. Okay, so we can start with the text in the middle, and then we'll read the side note. Okay. Food stands are delicious Mexican foods. Food stands serve delicious Mexican foods. Many foods are made with hot chili peppers. They're very spicy. So if you've ever been to a Mexican restaurant, at least one that serves actual Mexican food and not just like Tex-Mex, which is similar, no, don't get me wrong, but it is different. You'll find that a lot of food is very spicy. That's because they use a lot of, like they said, spices and hot chili peppers. And so that being the case, the food comes out very spicy. So let's go ahead and read the note on the side here. Favorite Mexican foods. Enchiladas, which are tortillas wrapped around a filling with and covered with sauce, right? So it's kind of like a burrito, but it's covered with sauce. So mole is a hot sauce made with chilies and chocolate, right? Super interesting. Chilies, you're like, okay, yeah, hot sauce. But then you say chocolate, and you're like, where did that come from? That's really random, right? But no, they've done it for years and years and years, and it's amazing, right? Definitely try it if you haven't. It's not everybody's favorite cup of tea, but nonetheless, it is amazing if you like spice and you like to try interesting things. Okay. Salsa, right? We've heard salsa before. A hot sauce made with tomatoes and chilies. That's the one that you can buy everywhere, right? You can buy it at Publix, Target, wherever you can buy it. It's just like a little thing like that. It's red sauce. You dip it in. It's a little spicy, and then depending on what meter of spiciness you get, it'll be either extremely hot or nothing at all, right? And then lastly, tortillas, right? Tortillas are round, flat bread, essentially. Some people get corn tortillas. Other people get flour tortillas, right? Flour tortillas are the white ones, and then corn tortillas are the yellow ones. Corn tortillas are made from corn, and the other ones, the white ones, are made from flour. Now, mind you, the way that they're made are pretty different, but at the end of the day, they have a very different taste as well. So you have to make sure that you're getting the one that you want, because some people don't like the corn. I love the corn, but some people really don't like the corn, and that's okay. You don't have to like the corn one. But if you order the corn one, you're not going to like it. So just make sure that you are ordering the correct one that you want, okay? All right, let's go ahead and move on. Chapter 7, children's fun, okay? Children enjoy many games at fiesta time. The piñata is a favorite, right? The piñata is shaped like an ano. It's filled with candy, then it's hung up high overhead, right? So how do you get the candy? That's the fun part. Someone puts a blindfold over your eyes, and you are spun around in a circle. Then you get a stick, and you swing the stick trying to hit the piñata. When you hit it, whack! The candy comes spilling all out, and the children gather up all their treats. So basically, you guys have used a piñata before. If you haven't, well, like it says here, you stand under it with a stick, and they spin you around while you're blindfolded, and then when you're done spinning, you have to try to hit the piñata without missing, and once you hit it a few times, maybe some of them are really strong for some reason, but once you hit it and it breaks, all the candy falls out, and all of the kids or whoever's there will try to get the candy, right? So yeah, that's basically a piñata and what it's used for. On the side here, we have some songs, but I have never heard the piñata song. There's 2 piñata songs, I think. Yeah, so one of them says, Dale, 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 no pierdas el tino, porque si lo pierdes, pierdes el camino. And that means, hit it, hit it, hit it. Don't lose your aim, because if you lose it, you will lose your way, right? So let's go ahead and move on. Okay, chapter 8, come to Puebla. Suppose you're in Mexico. Cinco de Mayo is coming. Where is a good place to be? In the city of Puebla, okay? So people there are proud of their city. It played a big part in Mexican history. Mexican soldiers march in parade. They honor the heroes of the Mexican wars, right? Other people march in costume. They wear clothing of the 1860s. This is a reminder of the Battle of Puebla, right? Later, there is a big show. People act out the famous battle. Some are dressed like French soldiers. Others are dressed like Mexican soldiers, right? Rifles fire and cannons roar. At last, the Mexicans win. Then it's time for food and music. Okay? So, joining in the spirit of Cinco de Mayo. Do you know Mexican Americans in your school or neighborhood? Ask how their families or communities celebrate Cinco de Mayo, right? Because, if you know a person who is Mexican or who has Mexican heritage, you can ask them, what do you guys do for Cinco de Mayo, right? And make sure that you ask, prefacing that that there's many more things about them and that it's not all about Cinco de Mayo and that's not all that Mexico is. But after you make that clear, you can ask what does your family do for Cinco de Mayo? How is it different than what I might do, right? As a person who isn't a Mexican or who isn't Hispanic maybe, right? But even from Hispanic culture to another Hispanic culture, there are a lot of differences, right? I personally am half Colombian and half Ecuadorian, right? My countries don't celebrate their holidays like Mexico does, right? But that's because we're all different and special, and everybody has the right to do their own thing. But you should ask. Just because you're Hispanic doesn't mean you're gonna celebrate it just like they do, right? You can ask, is there a Mexican neighborhood in your city? Does it hold the Cinco de Mayo festival? If so, go and enjoy the sounds, right? So just make sure that you're always willing to participate and to go and see the sights and to venture out to learn more about this beautiful encounter with Mexican culture. Visit a Mexican restaurant for Cinco de Mayo, right? This is what everybody does. We can't do this right now because, of the lockdown and the quarantine, but you may be able to make some yummy, delicious Mexican food at home. Okay, so you can look up some different recipes, and I guarantee you will find something that you can do at home. Whether it's a simple taco or maybe an enchilada like we saw earlier, a burrito, whatever it is that you want to do, I suggest, if you can, ask your parents about tacos al pastor or tacos al pastor, right? Those are my favorite tacos in the world, and and I definitely recommend that everyone tries them if you haven't. It's very interesting because it has pineapple in it, right? So super cool. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next page. Okay, so here we have a few recipes. Okay, so for homework, I want you guys to look at one of these recipes and see if it's possible to make it. If you don't make it, that's okay. Okay, you're not forced to make it. What your homework is to read this and just to basically see if you know how to make it. Not to actually make it, because you don't have to. But if you want to, that's also okay as well. All right, and also, as you can see here, we have a Mexican bird rattle, okay? So rattle is that thing you shake, kind of like a maraca, but they're not talking about maracas here. They're just talking about a like something that makes a rattling noise. And that's just like the sound, right? So here we have instructions for that. So if you want to do that at home, you may as well try, right? And the directions are right here. You can read them and go ahead and do it for yourself. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead and move on. All right. So, this is the glossary here. So basically, let's just go over these keywords here, and then we will be done. Okay? Blindfold, a cloth tied around the head to cover the eyes. So do you guys remember when they would use this? I'll give you guys a couple seconds. That's right, when they were trying to hit the piñata. Good job, guys. Very good. If you got that, great job. If not, it's okay. You heard me say it, so now you know. All right. Folk, related to the common people in a region. Folk, okay, which means related to the common people in a region. So this really has to do with everything that we just learned about. So everything relating to Cinco de Mayo is technically relating to their folk scenery. So that's basically what folk means, nothing too crazy or specific. Pride, a feeling of being proud. I'm sure that everybody has felt this before. It's when something amazing happens and you are really proud of what happened. Then at that point you may go ahead and feel pride, right? Traditional, right? Following long-held customs, right? So this is what Cinco de Mayo is in its essence, a cultural custom that they've held for years and years, right? But it's something that is very good, and tradition isn't always bad, right? Sometimes we think that tradition is just repetitive nonsense, but in this case, it's not at all. It's the opposite, because although they celebrate the same thing every year, they're having a different experience every single year, and different people are being welcomed into this culture and learning so much. All right, guys, so after going over those words, I hope that you can find yourself to know more and more about Mexican culture and why we celebrate Cinco de Mayo, right? It's very important, and it's something that a lot of people should know about. So go ahead and tell your friends and family that you know a lot more about Cinco de Mayo now. And well, guys, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and that you continue to know more and more about different things. Okay, and during your Wow on Demand today, I hope you guys can enjoy the rest of the videos. Okay, so I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. Boom.